So we're talking about upekkha, equanimity, and we're practicing equanimity. So if I may ask you, take a moment, close your eyes if you wish. And as you contemplate the word upekkha, the word equanimity, the idea of cultivating and practicing equanimity, what comes to mind? Whether it's a particular word or series of words, or perhaps a particular image. Perhaps it's an association with specific experiences in the body or in the mind. Just take a moment to notice that. If your eyes have been open, have been closed, you can open them now. So just taking that moment to notice, what's your association already with equanimity? And the challenge in talking about equanimity is the same challenge that we have in talking about so many aspects of the practice, which is we're looking to put words to something that is fundamentally experiential. So our words are at best an approximation of what we're trying to capture and allow ourselves to connect with. So some of the words, some of the descriptions, some of the images, some of the similes that we've discussed until now, when we talk about equanimity, we've talked about the imagery from Bhikkhu Analeo, with equanimity being compared to the full, beautiful moon that's glowing on a really dark, cloudless, clear sky in the night sky, right? That big, beautiful, cool brightness of the moon, capturing a little bit of the essence of equanimity as being perhaps the groundedness for the other Brahmaviharas. So we've used the word ground or groundedness in association with equanimity. We've also used the word center, equanimity being the space in the middle, the space in the center that holds or that allows the Brahmaviharas, metta and compassion, and karuna and mudita, sympathetic joy, to be able to exist within this space. Equanimity holding these qualities of the Brahmaviharas. I saw recently somebody describe equanimity as being the opposable thumb to the other Brahmaviharas. And that was the imagery that was being used. So, how blessed we are that we have that opposable thumb and that we're able to do so much more with our hands functionally as a result. Some of us relate to equanimity as an anchor, as an anchoring for ourselves and for the Brahmaviharas. The idea of being balanced, equanimity bringing forth balance. Spacious stillness. I think teacher Sharon Salzberg uses that phrase when she tries to define equanimity. Stability, footing. These are all words, images, and ways of trying to bring the point at what we're looking to cultivate. And they're also pointing at the relationship between equanimity and the other three Brahmaviharas. I saw this quote from a 14th century Tibetan master. I'm not sure how to pronounce the name, so I might mangle it. Longchenpa, Longchenpa. And it's written like this: out of the soil of metta grows the bloom of compassion, to be watered by tears of joy, under the cool shade of equanimity. I'll share that again. Out of the soil of metta grows the bloom of compassion, to be watered by tears of joy, under the cool shade of equanimity. And this really captures a very specific image and very specific words to aid us in relating with each of these qualities, each of these heart qualities of the Brahmaviharas. And metta is the soil in which everything grows. And the shade, the protection that equanimity provides enables this growing process, this blooming process to happen. Teacher Pema Chodron writes, when you feel bad, let it be your link to others' suffering. And when you feel good, let it be your link with others' joys. So that there's an interrelatedness between myself and everyone else. And I can enable my own experiences of pain, of challenge, of sorrow, and those of joy to be a doorway, to be a bridge, reinforcing, cultivating this connection with myself and the rest of humanity, the rest of the world. So that the Brahmaviharas are all mutually supportive and dependent with each other. You really don't have one without the other in any sort of a skillful, grounded, certainly sustainable kind of a way. The word interdependence comes to mind. Right? There's a quality where they all exist, and yet they all exist in context and in relation with each other. Teacher Jack Kornfield says, a peaceful or an equanimous heart gives birth to love. When love meets suffering, it turns into compassion. And when love meets happiness, it turns to joy. Today, I want to share with you another imagery that really I find supportive in this practice and in this cultivation. We've talked in the past about the grandmother heart mind, right? This beautiful, caring, open, and at the same time, wise and skillful way of demonstrating, of knowing when and knowing how to be present for your loved ones. So I saw equanimity compared specifically to being like the parent of grown-up children. If we've done a good job in our parenting, we've nurtured our children, we've provided for them, we've taught them right from wrong and what they need to know to be successful in life. And now they've grown up, and it's time for them to go. It's time for them to go forth. So as skillful parents, we let that process happen. We let them go. We let them go out and venture. We let them make mistakes. We let them make their own judgments. We let them learn and discover. But at the same time, we don't just say, see ya, have a good life. We continue to be ever present as parents. They're available, wanting the connection, available for the connection, staying connected. Equanimity is the parent of the grown-up children. So the Brahmaviharas, without this equanimity, they're like immature children. They're prone to what we've described in the past as the near enemies, the vulnerabilities that are there. What happens when you have metta that's not really grounded and anchored? What happens when you have mudita without boundaries? What happens with karuna when your heart is overflowing with pain in resonance with others' pain without a containment, without an inner holding? And equanimity creates the connection between each of these Brahmaviharas, and equanimity creates the quality so that now I can be there and I can be here. I don't stop being here. There's still refuge here. There's still groundedness here. And I don't mean that in the sense of an artificial self, but in the sense of what it really means to be in the most real practical sense, what it means to be a human being interacting among other human beings. So we could talk all day about no self, non-self, and that's a very essential part of the cultivation of equanimity. And yet, we bring ourselves into this world, we experience this world, and we interact with others in this way. So the practice of equanimity is both a practice on and off the cushion, and it's also a contemplation. It's something that we can really contemplate and allow ourselves to develop insight and wisdom through the contemplation. There's this balance that's happening within equanimity. Balance, the balance of caring, connecting, kindness, an open and resonant heart. And then there's also this quality that's very specific with equanimity, very specifically the quality of equanimity, of letting go. When is your stuff, and not my stuff? When is your challenge, and not mine? When is your pain, your pain? When is your opportunity, your opportunity? How do I interplay between these two? Me and you, my caring, your reality. Equanimity brings forth this practice, this contemplation. And we've all talked so much about equanimity, the danger, the concern of equanimity being, and it's described in fact as the near enemy of equanimity, developing this coolness, this coldness, this indifference, like that's your shit, not mine. That's not equanimity, right? That's a protectiveness, that's a walled offness that maybe is necessary if we are just in some sort of act of self-preservation, but it isn't equanimity. So what we see then is that equanimity isn't really either equanimity without the other Brahmaviharas. The qualities of metta and of karuna and of mudita inform equanimity in the same way that equanimity informs them. This interdependence that we've been talking about between the Brahmaviharas goes both ways. There isn't skillful, sustainable equanimity without the other heart qualities as well. Traditionally, the practice and the cultivation of equanimity begins with a neutral person. And it's interesting to look at with each Brahmavihara what the traditional order of practice, and I think it does vary a little bit based on the specific meditation tradition that we're speaking from. But it's really interesting to see what is the recommended order in the traditional way. Do we start with ourselves in the way that we do with metta? Do we start with a friendly person, somebody that we love and care about? Do we start with a neutral person? And then as we radiate outward from there, what's the order? And there's actually rhyme and reason to that. But I've seen recommended by some teachers that despite the traditional order, to begin the practice of equanimity also with ourselves. And then moving from ourselves to somebody that we have sort of a neutral stance with or a neutral relationship with. So I was thinking that maybe today during our practice, we would play around a little bit with that. So today we'll do that variation from the traditional practice as we're sitting. And maybe tomorrow, when we sit together, we'll do a little bit more of the traditional practice and just seeing what it feels like. What do we encounter within us? What feels supportive? What enables us to connect more deeply, both within our own heartfulness and the interconnected quality of myself and others, myself and the world. Okay. So thank you. Thank you for your kind attention. Let's take a moment or two or three. Listen to the body. See what needs to be moved, shaken, stirred, aired out, in support of sitting together. Taking some time to settle back down in our seats with intention, with awareness. Taking some time to settle into a posture that feels comfortable right now. Where we can feel relaxed. Relaxed enough to take the internal energy to bring our awareness, to bring our attention to this moment. Right here. And beginning by first noticing what's the ambient temperature like right now? What does it feel like right now? On the surface of the body, so to speak. And what sounds do we hear? Any sort of ambient noises? The sound of my voice? With a sense of invitation, really with a sense of invitation, offering ourselves the opportunity for settling. Even if I've been sitting, technically sitting, when I begin my sit, I think about the word arriving. And I invite myself to arrive. So after we've set up the external environment, we take some time and set up the internal environment as well. I bring in welcome and friendliness. Sometimes what I need to call for is a sense of patience, of allowing, just sitting back, having the space, offering the space for the mind and the body to settle. Is the breathing being held in any sort of way? Can we allow the breathing to just be the way it is right now? Sometimes more shallow, sometimes more deep, sometimes faster, sometimes slower, depending on so many variables and conditions. It may be helpful as I say this phrase to repeat it in your own mind, or just to allow the words to resonate within. May I be at peace. May I be at peace. May I be at peace. Inviting a sense of quiet or quietude in the body and the mind. A sense of spacious soft, caring, holding. May I learn to see the arising and passing of all my experiences with balance and equanimity. May I learn to see the arising and passing of all my experiences with balance and equanimity. May I learn to see the arising and passing of all my experiences with balance and equanimity. May I be open and balanced and peaceful. May I be open and balanced and peaceful. May I be open and balanced and peaceful. If you feel ready to, perhaps now inviting to mind somebody that you feel a sense of love, of care. Invite that person to mind and to heart. Or that being. And again, repeating the words in your own mind, or simply allowing the words to arise and to arrive to your ears and to your mind and heart. May you learn to see the arising and passing of all your experiences with balance and equanimity. May you learn to see the arising and passing of all your experiences with balance and equanimity. May you learn to see the arising and passing of all your experiences with balance and equanimity. May you be open and balanced and peaceful. May you be open and balanced and peaceful. May you be open and balanced and peaceful. Taking a moment to really notice, for right now, right here, right now, what are the footholds into the sense of equanimity that are available, that are being connected with? Are they the words that I've shared or other words? Perhaps it's more of a sense of an image or a picture, or just particular sensations and qualities of heart and mind and body, maybe a combination of several of these. Let's take a moment now. Bring to mind a neutral person. Somebody that there isn't particularly strong emotional associations with, one way or another. And in the silence and in the space of sitting together now for a few minutes, bring to bear those particular words or images or inner experiences of equanimity. If something begins to feel too tight, or maybe the opposite, too loose, attention has wandered or gotten lost, just invite yourself back to a real sense of presence right here, right now, in the body. And whenever you feel ready, begin again. May we all be open and balanced and peaceful.